Rise and shine, everyone. Thank you for joining us on air and streaming on the KARE 11 app here on this Friday. I'm Jason Hackett alongside Alicia Lewis. Happy Juneteenth to everybody out there. We got a busy weekend. As I mentioned, Juneteenth today, Father's Day weekend, the Special Olympics coming up.
It is so incredibly busy. World Cup events happening this afternoon with Team USA taking on Australia. So much to cover this morning, but a lot of things depend on the weather. So let's get out to Jamie Cagle in the backyard. It shouldn't be too bad today.
No, we're going to be dodging some rain, hit or miss around the Twin Cities. A greater chance as you look a little further north, parts of central and northern Minnesota. Better chance of having to deal with some of those afternoon thunderstorms. But right now, beautiful start to our day. 55 at MSP, mostly sunny skies. The dew point still hovering in the upper 40s. Gives it that kind of cool, crisp feel, if you will. But there you go. About 11 o'clock, could see a shower coming across the metro. And then as you get into the afternoon, it's going to be hit or miss around here. So maybe nothing at 3 o'clock, but quite possibly 4, 5, and 6 isolated thunderstorms. Temperatures lower half of the 70s. The dew points aren't crazy either, as we just saw. And there's a look at the satellite. Again, the clouds are coming in. The radar showing rain moving across the state line. Looks like we might have a few lightning strikes out there in far western Minnesota. We'll have a few more lightning strikes later on this afternoon with some cool temperatures to the north and finally some mid-70s in southern Minnesota.
Jamie, thank you. Let's give you a look at the roads. This is the only issue I am tracking. It's far south of the Twin Cities. So if you are driving southbound 35, this is just south of Elko New Market and Hazelwood. There was a semi that rolled over there. They got it back on its wheels, but southbound lanes there closed for the time being. As you can see, northbound still open this morning. We'll give you a check of the map. Closer home to Twin Cities Metro. Not bad, not seen any crashes, but here's a look at where that closure is if you do have travels south of the Twin Cities Metro today.
Well, breaking right now, a police officer is in the hospital this morning after being shot in St. Peter.
Now, the police department confirming this just in the last few hours. St. Peter, though, is about an hour south of Minneapolis. Police say the scene unfolded at around 8 o'clock last night on Bunker Lane. Audrey Russo has been working to learn more details about this, and Audrey's joining us now with what you've learned, Audrey.
Good morning. This is the post that neighbors in the area saw, warning them to shelter in place around Washington Terrace. As of 10:30, that order is lifted, and the officer who was shot is now getting medical treatment.
Occupants of number 23, you are under arrest. This is the St. Peter Police Department.
Our newsroom received this ring camera footage from a neighbor in the area where you can hear St. Paul police trying to engage with someone that they're trying to arrest. Now, according to the St. Peter Police Department, that was around 8 p.m. and an officer was shot on Bunker Lane. Now, what you can see from this video, this is a residential area. The houses are somewhat close together. Around that same time, we picked up scanner calls where you can hear several gunshots in the background as officers report shots fired. Now, the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension has confirmed on X that they're investigating this as a use of force incident. What we're still working to confirm this morning is what led up to the shooting, the identity and the condition of the suspect, and whether or not anyone else was involved. And we're also working to confirm the condition of the officer who was shot. Back to you.
All right, Audrey, thank you for that. And we, of course, will be following this story all morning here on KARE 11 and on our free KARE 11 app starting at 7 o'clock this morning. To start watching, you can scan the QR code on your screen to download.
A major update this morning in Luigi Manion's state murder trial. His lawyers say they are backing off plans to pursue a psychiatric defense a day after telling the courts that they would. Manion is charged with killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. On Wednesday, his lawyers said Manion was extremely emotionally disturbed at the time of the shooting. He has pleaded not guilty to both his state and federal charges. His state trial is set to start in September.
Happening tonight, Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan and Congresswoman Angie Craig will face off in a live debate. The two leaders are both vying to be the DFL's candidate for Senator Tina Smith's seat. The debate comes just weeks after the state's DFL endorsed Flanagan. Before the convention, though, Craig decided to withdraw from the endorsement process entirely, saying it, quote, does not reflect the full scope of the party that we are. Tonight's debate starts at 7 p.m. on Twin Cities PBS.
10:06:05. Right now, the city of St. Paul is dealing with a historic $26 million budget gap. Sammy Salina sat down with Mayor KARE to go through her priorities and what could be on the table for cuts.
St. Paul Mayor KARE told me she has inherited a huge task balancing a historic budget gap. Now, early estimates from St. Paul's Financial Services shows a $26 million shortfall, which is the highest in the city's history. Her says it's not exactly unexpected given inflation and other factors, and she is currently asking city departments for proposals on what they could do without, and says she expects about a 4% cut across the board along with a tax levy increase. Now, Mayor Her, she's begun a series of meetings with residents, businesses, and organizations that happens through July 1st, and the next one is on Monday at Sunray Library.
Now, across the river, Minneapolis is dealing with its own budget shortfall for 2027. According to city data, the gap is between $28 to $33 million. They say that's because of increased costs for personnel and city services, along with flat or declining revenues.
This morning, one Metro school district says it's rethinking how technology is used in classrooms. Minnetonka public school leaders say that they're cutting back on using iPads after hundreds of parents raised concerns. So let's take a closer look at the changes happening this coming fall. Elementary school students, iPads will now only come home for specific educational purposes. The district says that they'll implement more web and app filtering across all grade levels, including banning YouTube for elementary and middle school students. There's also going to be a parent portal for parents to monitor their kids' devices at home.
When our children abuse their responsibility with the iPad, we take the iPad away. And in this case, we kind of want to take the iPad away from the schools because they've abused that privilege.
And Minnetonka's not the only school scaling back. Wayzata Public Schools also making some changes this upcoming school year, limiting devices to essential learning apps, enforcing more web filtering, and restricting after-school internet access.
Well, this morning, communities across the country are preparing to celebrate Juneteenth. One of the biggest celebrations in the Twin Cities is returning to Minneapolis in just a few hours. Soul of the South Side is kicking off at Minnehaha and East Lake Street at noon. That free festival brings together artists and small businesses to celebrate Black creativity. That runs until 8 tonight. And then in Edina, they're having a Juneteenth celebration at Centennial Lakes Park from noon until 2. And then over in Maple Grove, you can join in on the festivities at Town Green from 5 until 9.